tell you, he's right in this. They need another guy. The Rockets don't have the guy. So we're talking about Jalen Green. We're talking about, not stepping up. 38 points in one game and then nothing the rest of the series.
High of 12 in the next 5.
Yeah.
Or next 6.
And single digits twice or 3 times.
4 times.
No, he had he had 3 double-digit games.
I know. And they went to a game 7.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He had a 7, an 8, an 8, and a 9.
Yeah.
4 single-digit games.
So, well, here's Gilbert Arenas on the Jalen Green situation yesterday on his podcast.
You take Jalen Green out, who is the threat from the outside? You think they really give a shit about Dylan Brooks shooting 3? I mean, Van Fleet is your only threat, but he's a small guard. And then you had Amen.
Yeah, he's not a shooter yet.
So you really had no offensive threat. And the fact that you was putting him in, pulling him out, pulling him in, pulling him out, he had no rhythm of ever having a Buddy Hield type of game or having a 38 type of game. So if he missed his first shot, you was already thinking, I'm about to pull him out. He was already thinking, I'm coming out. So he really never had a chance to really get into a groove where you miss Steph Curry. Horrible first half, excellent second half, right?
I don't know.
You never was going to get that from Jalen Green the way you was playing him. You need different packages for different type of defenders. You're doing the same move on different players, and that's not how the game works.
Yeah.
Right? You got to have a package for the Jimmy Butler type of guys. You need a package for Draymond Green type of defenders. You need a package for Steph Curry type of defender. You need different packages so when these guys get on you, you know how to play the game.
Listen, it's gonna be a big summer for him this summer.
It got
I feel like personally he doesn't know how to play basketball yet.
Yeah.
So this summer we'll be able to teach him. If not, if I'm Houston, I'm moving on.
They got to.
Yeah. All right. A
There's a
couple
lot
of
in
things.
there.
First of all, Jalen had plenty of opportunities. If he had a bad first half, he was starting the second half, and he could have turned it around. It's not like he yanked him as soon as he missed a shot. That's incorrect. That is not true. Now, did he get yanked? Yeah, he got yanked, but he deservedly so in most instances. It's not. Look at his minutes played. Dude played. He played every game, and he played, and Ime played him.
It's not new either, by the way. Jalen has gone through this where every player has, other than Fred VanVleet, where you could get pulled and spend some time on the bench during the game.
No.
It doesn't mean that's going to be the case the next game, but that's not unusual for Jalen to have to go find some bench time if somebody else is playing well.
Yeah, I mean, he compared him to Steph Curry. Stop already. Stop. Steph had a bad first half, so Steph had a great second half. He ain't Steph Curry.
Do you think he wants Steph Curry's? Does he want the pressure of Steph Curry?
Yeah.
The expectations of Steph Curry?
Well, I want the wins. I want the success that Steph Curry had. That's what I want. But I mean, he is right. I tell you, he's right in this. They need another guy. I don't know that the Cavs need another guy. They didn't show. Tyrese Halliburton was just fantastic, and Indiana was just fabulous. I don't know that Cleveland needs it because they got a guy. They've got Donovan Mitchell. They got Mobley. The Rockets don't have the guy.
I'm going to ask you a tough question. If you think about this. Do they have a primary star? No. Not a primary scoring star. However, they got 2 guys that can really score in Jalen Green and Alperen Sengun. Is what you're saying where they need a guy? Because I agree they need a different type of player. Like they need somebody that is a competent shooter from the perimeter. They more so than the streaky guys. I totally agree with that. Is what you're saying an indictment on Alperen a little bit when you say they need another guy? Because he's got Alperen Sengun, an all-star next to him, and you're saying, boy, they need another guy. Well, you got a guy who can score from the low post, from the high post.
Alperen is a scorer, but you need a shooter. They need a shooter. They need a guy. They've never. They don't just. And it's been how long that they do. This team isn't nearly as dependent on the three. They had James Harden who could fill it up from
could. But other than that, we have not had a secondary player other than Eric Gordon was that guy, and he was And he was as good as we could,
Nah.
as the Rockets have had in terms of being a 3-point shooter. And Eric Gordon was just okay with the Rockets.
They have got to go out and get that guy that they can depend on a basket at any time. I mean, any time he can pull them out of. This team just goes into such a lull where they go on a scoring drought, and the other team just. I mean, that's the NBA today, though. The runs are incredible, but you need a stopper. You need a guy that's going to be able to go and stop the bleeding for a while, and they just don't have that. When they go willy-nilly and it's just like, and the wheels are falling off, it just is like, oh my gosh. And that's happened with the Celtics. The Cavs had big leads in a couple of these games, and they blew them.
Right.
The Celtics have had big leads in 3 of these games, and they blew them. I mean, that's the NBA today. When teams start to get hot, and shooters start filling it up. Last night, Denver leads by 9 with 5 minutes left.
Yeah,
and they just and Lou Dort just starts going off, and they got Shea and they got Williams. I mean, they need a guy. I don't agree that Jaylen. He doesn't have the He's had plenty of opportunities.
Now, do you agree?
He's got a green light
now,
the time.
That was one guy saying that. That was, I don't know who the other guys. That was
Gilbert.
Obviously Gilbert Arenas. Whoever the other guy was said, I just don't think he knows how to play basketball.
No.
I think there's some truth in that.
He's got 2 years with Ime now,
and I don't think. Okay, these are basketball players.
Yeah.
They look at it differently. They're like, he didn't really know how to play ball. That's probably accurate. He didn't come up playing. He came up playing some AAU. Didn't play a lot of structured ball. Has not had, we all know the first 3 years were complete, or first 2 years for him. 2 years or 3 years with Steven Silas?
he had 3 years with Steven.
Wait, is this his 5th year?
He's played 5. No, he's had. Didn't he have?
Isn't this 4 years for Jaylen?
Did he have 2 with Silas or 3 with Silas? Whatever.
No. Because it was 2 with Silas, because it was James Harden was there. The Steven Silas came in, and it was James Harden, and then he ended up trading him that same year. So Jaylen was the year after that.
Okay.
When the Rockets went in the tank. So he had 2 years with Silas.
Oh, wait a minute. You know what is, he knows how to play basketball. You know what it is? Hitting shots. And Jaylen just doesn't hit shots. I mean, don't shoot 29, 30% from 3, 31% from 3. If you know how you can play, that guy knows how to play basketball. You know why? Because he shoots 36% from 3. That's how that's the guy who knows how to play basketball.
I think that it's not as look, they're different people. But there are some similarities with Steve Francis, who is this incredible athlete who could do some incredible individual moves. Steve was off the dribble. Jaylen can do it off the dribble, but his finishes are spectacular. Steve had the ability to beat you off the dribble with spectacular, handles, but both of them their games were heavily reliant upon pure athleticism. Now, the difference is that we have to remember is Jalen Green took a step forward as a shooter. He really did. He was a much better three-point shooter this year. He is potentially moving in the right direction as a three-point shooter. I think he's always going to be an explosive player first and a shooter second. But there is a long list of players who have improved. Jason Kidd went from being a bad three-point shooter to an incredible three-point shooter in his career. Michael Jordan became a much better three-point shooter with time and with work. I'm now making like an argument you made last week that, if you give Jaylen some time, there is a chance that if you give Jaylen time, he'll go from 35% three-point shooter to 38% free. And you're 38% from 3, and you're a 24-point per game scorer. That's not bad. Yeah. I'll take 38 all day long.
Yeah. He was 35-4 this year from 3.
Yeah. So I mean, he took the step up. He's at 30. That's what I said. He's 35. He could take the step to 38 next. The problem is I don't know how long you have to wait for that to happen. Like, do you want to keep waiting for that to happen?
Well, it sure would be. Listen, he's averaging. He's an average. He averages 20 points a game in his entire career. But it's the inconsistency that's so maddening. And by the way, he's not a guy that you can just count on. I'm in a crunch time that I'm gonna get me a basket. They need that. They need a guy. I just think it's Durant. I think you add Durant, you don't subtract a lot from this team. I'm set up. I just think it's Durant.
You better send that message to the Rockets more clearly, because the reporting now is they aren't that interested in him. They're lukewarm. That's not the guy they actually want.
Because they're trying to get the bidding down.
No one from Phoenix apparently.
Listen, the art of the deal. Okay. Where's Tillman? Okay,
he's in Italy.
He's in Italy, right?
I don't think that's
Negotiating
what
deals. You bring the value of that asset down, and you give listen, we're not that interested. We'll give you Sean Tate.
But there are other teams that are interested though.
Well, that's true. That's not. You still have to make they're still going to take.
Listen, I know something about this organization. They're pretty tight-lipped. They ain't out there going, yeah, we ain't that interested in Durant.
Well, they told it. Well, then what about the Devin Booker stuff? That came out from them too.
Everything is speculation.
It is, but it also could be accurate that they just don't have. It also could be Ime has convinced ownership that, hey, I want to come back with these guys. There's a chance Ime did that too.
Well, I mean, Durant is the way you come back with these guys for the most part.
Well, no, you can, but he may say, I want to give Jaylen another year.
He may not like Durant defensively too.
There's no way he likes Durant defensively, and realistically, he may also there's a lot that he would like about Durant in terms of just what he gives him on offense. But you always worry about with defensive-minded coaches if they think enough about offense, because the first thing he gets to is he a dog? Is he? No, Kevin Durant's not really a dog. No. Is he going to be able to defend? No, not really. Is he getting older? Yeah, he might be on board with Jalen Green too. I feel like, you feel like he would get away from Jalen, but who knows? He may really like him, and I got a feeling that ownership is going to listen to Ime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh no.
They're going to do what Ime wants to do.
Absolutely.
Rockets no longer interested in Devin Booker. Still have faith in Jalen Green. That could be the case that they get that. Now it also could be you want to keep, Jalen Green happy in the offseason. But if you plan on sticking with Jalen Green, you want to wet blanket all that stuff right away, because you don't want that in Jalen Green's head the whole offseason.